Hello fellow Pythonistas, today we are gonna learn about some good fucking tooling for your garbage dump you call code projects. This shit is called UV, and it's the best fucking shit for managing Python. If you've been using Python for any length of time, chances are you've nearly turned your machine into a horrific flaming dumpster fire of libraries installed all over the place. If you rub two brain cells together, chances are you've possibly tinkered with Python virtual environments to contain your superfan site during building projects. Or maybe you needed specific versions of Python and tried out PyEnv to handle these things. Getting really experimental, maybe you tried out Poetry as a management tool. However, all of those are hot garbage compared to what we are gonna show today. Enter the new hot shit. UV. It can handle anything from installing specific versions of Python to managing libraries and even preparing items to upload to the Python package index, while being 50 times faster than anything else. Now let's cut the yapping and get cooking. Let's say you have a shitty little thing you're making, and you want to make a quick little box to contain the horrors you're about to unleash on humanity. To contain that disaster, we just use the command uvvenv to spin up the containment site for your crimes. As you can see, this tool does not waste any time getting things done. It automatically created a virtual environment and installed a portable fixed version of Python within it, so it will always be there to use. When using UV, you don't have to activate the virtual environment as it takes care of this for you. So you can safely just not think about it while using UV directly. Now that we have a box for our trash, let's install a Python package to show you just how damn fast this tool is compared to anything else. For this example, we will install the requests package into our little dark box of horror. To do this, we use UV pip install requests. As you can see, this tool is fast as fuck, limited only by your download speed and by your CPU. If you happen to have at least 3 brain cells left in this economy, you'll realize that this is pretty damn Spartan for an actual project. If you want to be able to map out your library maze from hell, you will need to use the project pieces UV provides. We can do this by instead doing UV init, like before. This will create a virtual environment you don't have to think about while in the folder. After running this, it also generates a nice collection of files this time. We automatically now have a Python version file to track the Python version needed for the project, a Python project toml file for listing libraries needed, an instantly set up git repo, and a git ignore file. All of this provided without even having to think. There is 2 commands we need to cover to educate all the smooth brains watching this content. Those 2 pieces are UV pip install versus UV add. UV pip install only installs it to your virtual environment, nothing more. UV add installs the package to the virtual environment, but also updates your toml file to include the dependency for when you ship your project elsewhere. Now let's go ahead and use UV add, and we will add in the popular requests library to our project. We will simply type UV add requests and smash that enter key. As you can see, this tool is fast as fuck. Even Sonic would approve of this tool if he could code instead of eating chili dogs all day. If you aren't blind, you've noticed the number of files previously generated in the background here. Since we installed requests using UV add, we now have it added to our PyProject toml file. Let's open it up and take a look at what we have. Looking at the file, we have a lot of simple config shit to look at. Project name, version of your shitty app, description area to explain your horrors to the masses, an area for a readme that all the normers will ignore, what version Python runs this project, and what mess of dependencies you have added to this project. Since we just asked it to install the latest version of requests, it automatically added it to the file and versioned what the latest version was when you added it. None of this fucking around with pip freeze or other shit to keep track of your mess of libraries. Now let's take a look at the UV log file. In practice you will never need to even look at this file. but let's take a look anyway, to see what it does. Looking at what is in here, the UV log file will add the exact links to the packages you need as well as equivalent packages for other platforms in case you need to run this on a different system to maintain consistency. This helps keep your box of crimes consistent across build environments. It also notes what version of Python is needed for this super fun dump you're about to hand off to another machine. Again, you should under normal circumstances never have to look at or touch this file as UV automatically handles this monstrosity for you. It is purely for consumption by the tool itself, and not for humans. The next item on the list of cool shit to look at is managing Python version with this tool. Since this tool is a single binary built in Rust, you don't even technically need Python installed on your system to begin with to run this tool, as it will handle Python versions for you with standalone portable builds it downloads and utilizes, all while not fucking up your main machine. Both the UV add command and the UV pip install command support the Python version flag. But before we get to that, let me show you the different versions of Python you can pull in with this tool. By using the command UV Python list, we can see all of the different version of Python you can install. This even includes the new fancy free threaded Python that doesn't have the ball and chain of the global interpreter lock. Don't worry if you have no idea what the global interpreter lock is. That just means that you're not ready for that kind of thread freedom anyway. Now let's add a specific version of Python to our folder of unspeakable things. To do this, we can add the -- python flag on the end of either our UV-venv command or our UV-init command. For this, I'm going to use it with UV-venv. As you can see, it will pull the latest fix version in by default of whatever Python you select. Astral, the org behind this tool, maintains automatic builds of portable Python for these versions, so you can be sure they're up to date. Executables or scripts that you want to run with UV are handled by using the UV run command. Works on anything from Python scripts you made to included scripts or binaries included by a library you installed. If you want to have a Python interpreter to fuck about with and try your shitty code on it, it's as simple as running UV run Python. Since I don't want a full interpreter, I'll put the version command on the end to show we're using the Python version we asked it to install. In case the brain rot has taken hold and you forgot what I mentioned earlier, none of this interacts with your system's Python install, if you have one. For example, here I run a normal Python command with the version flag without any UV commands to show my system Python is working just fine. Let's fucking battle test this till a bit in a more real world scenario utilizing a project that already exists and has a lot of dependencies. All you nerds are on Discord anyway, so let's use UV pip install to grab red Discord bot. In the span of less than 10 seconds on a gigabit fiber connections, we have pulled in a whole ass install within the entire span it took your brain to even register something happened. Wow. Doing this on normal pip would easily take 2 minutes or longer, let alone trying to manage the fact that this project needs an older version of Python, which we already set to 3.10. Now, we can configure the bot using the redbot setup command. Utilizing UV, we can type UV run redbot-setup instantly. Our config screen for the bot comes up, and the project is working as expected. Since we don't actually care about setting this up, I'm closing this shit out. For the next bit of cool shit, I'm breaking out dependencies that Python can grab from the comments of your shitty Py file. Looking at this bit of sample code, it has in the comments up top a script block with a dependencies section, where you can add whatever trash your script needs to run. You can also include the ability to specify a specific Python version too, but I can't be fucked to go look in the documentation to demonstrate this, so that exercise is left to the fucking reader. In this case, we are using HTTPX for our required library to fetch this bit of data from the web. Done this way, UV won't actually install the dependency to your project's folder. Instead it will own an isolated temporary box, so long as the script is running. then clean up after it's done. This is great for those one-off scripts that need a dependency, but you need a way to ship it to someone else. You can just tell them to UV run your script and magic will happen. Taking this a bit farther, you can download tools from the Python package index and run them without even installing them as a package, if you need a one-off tool. For this trick, we are gonna use a new command. This command is uvx, which downloads a package to a temporary cache, then runs it isolated from any other projects. So now when someone bitches about needing bloat installed to run your horror, you can politely tell them to just get fucked. Here we will demonstrate uvx with a kick-ass tool for downloading YouTube and other videos, known as YT-DLP. Watching closely, you will see that it downloads the needed items to its cache directory, then just executes the command you asked it to run. Perfectly easy for smooth brains who can't or won't bother with fucking with a Python install, as it manages all of that for you. If I had fed it a YouTube video, it would have started downloading. But again, I have to give you all something to try on your own, otherwise the brain rot will just make you forget more than you already have. For those more cracked out that wish to have something more permanent, that doesn't just go poof like Meeseeks from Rick and Morty, UV also supports installing the tool to be used directly by your command line. This is done by using the command UV tool install. Again, using our YouTube downloader tool from earlier. Let's install that and see what the process looks like. You'll note that the first time you run this command, it does prompt you that you need to add a directory to your path. This only needs to ever be done exactly one time to add this directory to your terminal's path going forward. Here, it gives us the easy option to just run UV tool update-shell to fix this problem for us. After you do that and restart your terminal, you can just call YT-DLP directly without putting any UV commands in front of it. As I'm not interested in fucking with my current terminal's path, I'm skipping this step, as I prefer the UVX method of summoning what I need when I need it. Removing these tools is just as simple, as we can just use UV tool, uninstall YT-DLP. In the span of a tiny fraction of a TikTok short, we have uninstalled the tool, and we are back in the state we were before fucking around with this. For those paranoid about disk space to the point they constantly clear their browser's cache, we have a final bit of info for those brand of neurospicy folks. Just like a browser, the speedy magic of UV relies on having a temporary cache of files to pull shit out of to keep your ADHD brain running as fast as possible. UV makes this craft incredibly easy to clean up for those who bother giving a shit about disk space in the current year. This command is simply UV cache clean. It will automatically clean up all the random shit it has stashed away, leaving it in an entirely clean state in the event you want to embark on some new fucked up project that requires so many libraries you start to rival JavaScript developers. One final piece of info for this tool. This tool supports all main operating systems and platforms. If the platform can run Rust, this tool can be built for that platform, if it's not already. Because it's a single 40 megabyte binary, you don't even have to technically install anything to run this tool either. Nearly all mainstream Linux operating systems have this tool in their package manager. For Macs, Brew has this tool. It can even be universally installed from Python's package manager itself, if you still need more options. For Windows, it's even in the largely unknown Windows package manager. You heard me correctly. In PowerShell on Windows, one can type winget install astral.sh.uv and Windows will install this tool for you. Wild. Now go forth and create new portable spaghetti code with the knowledge that has been gifted to you. Make the world weep with the code that now runs on other machines besides your own.